Begin by safely raising and supporting your vehicle and removing the rear wheels. Please follow the link provided at the end of this video if you need additional assistance with those tasks. You may find that you have enough clearance for the shock not to get jammed in the wheel carrier. If you do not, you will need to detach some of the control arms. The ones in this article are what we found to work for us by removing them. During the following steps, before you work on any of the nuts and bolts on the wheel carrier and chassis subframe, use a marker to mark at least 2 straight lines on each end of the bolts, red arrows. You will use this to help facilitate a correct fit. Use an 18mm wrench to loosen the nut on the drop link, blue arrow, while you use an 18mm wrench to hold the bolt holding the shock to the wheel carrier, red arrow. Do not remove yet. During installation, this will be tightened to a torque of 90 Newton meters or 67 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. For ease of removal and installation of the rear shock, we recommend attaching some of the control arms holding the wheel carrier to give it more clearance. If you do this, you will need to get the vehicle aligned at an alignment shop afterwards. Use a 21mm wrench to loosen the nut, blue arrow, while you use a 21mm wrench to hold the bolt holding the lower control arm to the wheel carrier, red arrow. Again, don't remove these yet, and during installation they will be torqued to 150 Newton meters or 111 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. The rear brake sensor cable and leveling sensor are attached to this upper control arm. Use 2 10mm wrenches to remove the nut and screw holding the cable mount, blue arrow. For the leveling sensor, use 2 10mm wrenches to remove the nut and screw holding the sensor, red arrow. During installation, these will be tightened to 10 Newton meters or 7.5 foot-pounds. Support the wheel carrier with your floor jack, red arrow. You will use your floor jack to level the wheel carrier so the bolts holding the control arms will slide out with less resistance. Remove the bolt from the upper control arm and position it away from the wheel carrier, red arrow. Remove the bolt from the lower control arm and position it away from the wheel carrier, red arrow. Lower the wheel carrier and remove the bolt from the shock and position it out of the wheel carrier, red arrow. Keep the shock supported with the floor jack. You will now work on accessing the bolts holding the shock to the chassis. Begin by opening the trunk. You will need to remove the main floor panel, blue arrow, and the side floor panels, green arrows. Remove the main floor panel by grabbing the handle and lifting it up, red arrow. Each of the side panels is held in place by 2 hook mounts. Use a T30 Torx to remove the 2 screws on each of the metal hook mounts, red arrows. During installation, these will be tightened to 10 Newton meters or 7.5 foot-pounds. With the floor panels removed, lift and set aside the trunk padding that covers the 2 shock mounting bolts, red arrows. Use a trim removal tool to remove the plastic caps covering the other 2 shock mounting bolts, blue arrows. Use a 16mm socket to remove the 4 bolts, red arrows. Make sure the shock is supported underneath when removing the last bolt. During installation, this will be tightened to a torque of 50 Newton meters or 37 foot-pounds plus 180 degrees. Slide the shock off of the wheel carrier and use a floor jack to lower it down from the top and remove. Installation is the reverse of removal. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.